Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Cereal at Midnight. This is a huge new release spotlight video. I've been building towards this video really all month long. Whew. Always worried I'm going to drop it when I do these. You got to hold it up for the thumbnail, right? How are you going to do it if you don't hold it up? Just look at the stack. That's how you get the clicks on this platform. This is a this will probably be the biggest video on this channel this month. I also do a Kino Lorber video. That's no Kino Lorbers included here. Kino Lorber gets their own spotlight because they send me everything that they put out. So this is going to be, what do we got? We got Arrow, we got Flicker Alley, we've got it just goes on and on and on. I want to kick it off with some studio releases, and we're going to do an unboxing here of something that I haven't even looked at yet, which is the new Steelbook 4K for Collateral. Have not even taken it out of the shrink wrap. I thought it'd be fun to do that right here with you guys. But first, we got to talk about the Bikeriders, which is now on 4K. I have watched this movie 3 times now. This is sitting at the top of my list. And I know, look, some of you guys have watched it and you've been like, well, I didn't have that reaction to it. That's cool. That's cool. You don't have to agree with everything that I feel or say. But man, this movie just continues to rise in my estimation. When people say, well, they're just not, I made a video called Where Are the Cinephiles? Because cinephiles have stopped going to the theater, largely. And I was like, why are cinephiles not going to the theater? And so many people are like, because there aren't any good movies anymore. For me, this is Exhibit A for an incredible film that is shot on 35mm film. It's got incredible performances from Tom Hardy and Austin Butler and Jodie Comer. So people talk to me, they're like, I don't like her accent. She's got this real, it's a dated, like, 60s Chicago accent that she's doing. They're all over the yard and this and that with their bikes. Some people have been like, I can't stand that accent. Like, this is based on real people, and that's how the character that she plays, who is a real person, talks. So, I don't know. I think that attention to detail is important. This is an incredible 4K, the movie, because it's shot on 35mm. This is, sometimes people say, well, 4Ks don't always look that good. Well, digital, if something's shot digitally, I feel like there's less of a return there than if something is shot on 35mm film. 4K really brings out all that grain and the layer and the coloring. This movie doesn't look like anything else because of the way that it's shot and the vintage equipment that they use and the stocks that they use. And it's got this, like, yellowy warm glow that just, it's beautiful. An incredible commentary. First thing I did is I popped this in and listened to the commentary with Jeff Nichols, and it's a great commentary. So many movies now, the studios don't want the story of the film out. The commentaries have to go through the legal department, and anything that's remotely controversial usually gets taken out. That's not the case here. I found out Austin Butler broke his ribs, or broke a rib at least, on the making of this movie. Found out about, like, people wiping out on their motorcycles. There's a lot of really cool behind the scenes revelations here that come through in the commentary. The era of the Bikeriders, featurettes. It's got some various featurettes. Johnny, Benny, and Kathy. Anyway, I just love this movie, and I'm really happy that it got a 4K, because a 4K, remember guys, if you're staying at home and watching, if you're saying, I'm not going to go see this in the theater, I'll check it out at home, often a 4K is not guaranteed until that opening weekend box office number goes out. So in many cases, a home video release can be planned before the theatrical release even happens. But don't think that those studios aren't watching that opening week box office to say, okay, this justifies a 4K. Or let's not do 4K, that's too risky, because 4K is still a very expensive format to manufacture. Not just to buy, but to manufacture. So that's one of the reasons I like to support these movies in the theater with my dollars, just to say, yes, more of this. Because I know people have told me, studio people have literally told me. So if you're going to be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about, people at the studios have told me that the opening weekend box office can feed how a movie is distributed on home media. So, and if you're digital, of course, then I don't know. But this is going to look so much better on a 4K disc than on a streaming digital service. Let's unbox Collateral. Now, I know that this movie has been released on 4K before. And full disclosure, I do not have that release. So I can't really do a comparison to that. But, we have the internet. So you can do... Wow, I'm having a hard time getting the shrink wrap off. You can do your own due diligence to see if this is an upgrade that's right for you, whatever. Here's the front, and there's the back. That's going to be everything that's included. This is a really great movie. This is Michael Mann. This is Michael Mann is obviously the creator, the showrunner guy behind Miami Vice, Manhunter, Heat. I think Heat is a defining moment for a lot of guys my age. All right, this was okay. Take this. This is the digital code. This is what we're dealing with here. Let me get this off of its. It's very minimalist steelbook. What do you guys think about it? You can let me know in the comments below. Let's see. I'm gonna put the Blu-ray back here. I'm gonna put the 4K here in the front. The 4K does have the special features on it. Some of you guys have complained about that. I like, as long as there's room on the disc, put as much as you can on that 4K disc so I'm not having to switch the discs out. Don't compress anything so that you have to compromise bit rates, but commentary by Michael Mann, the making of Collateral, special delivery. I saw this in theaters, and it was a phew. Again, I love supporting movies in the theaters. I think it's important, and I have had a blast. For me, movies live in a theater, and the home experience is an extension of that. But man, theaters are so important. From Flickr Alley, I have 2 releases from Flickr Alley that we're going to talk about here. They sent these over. Now, I have not had time to watch it. Obviously, there is simply not enough time to watch all of these titles before I make these videos for you guys. I have 1 month, and in 1 month, I'm getting about 100 releases. The best that I can do is to let you know about them in as timely of a fashion as possible. So you will want to keep your eyes peeled, not just to this channel. More and more, you can find my reviews at CerealAtMidnite.com. You can find my reviews on Letterboxd. I will share those reviews on social media. This format, the YouTube format, has really morphed into disseminating as much information as possible in as short of a time as possible without getting too deep, because the audience just isn't there to support. And some of you guys are like, I'm here. The larger audience is not here for deep conversations. They're here to just say, they're on their couch, you know, what came out? What do I want to know about that came out? So for deeper conversations about a lot of what we're going to talk about, keep your eyes peeled to those other outlets that I talked about. I hope that you're visiting CerealAtMidnite.com all the time, because I put new things there daily. So this has Never Opened That Door. This came out a few months back from Flickr Alley. This is an Argentinian noir from 1952? Yeah, 1952. It's preserved by the Film Noir Foundation in 2013 through the UCLA Film and Television Archive. It has a nice complement of special features here. Rather than me just sit here and read this to you, let me hold this up for you. Flip this around. You can see all of the features. You can read the description, see the features. You note it is region A, B, and C. And this has a beautiful... Oh, hold on. They always do... This has a reversible art wrap as well. So there's going to be the original title and the Spanish language title and poster art for this film. And these booklets are packed full of information. Look at that. Whew. Oh, here's a bigger, more photogenic, I guess, easier to read, is I guess what I'm trying to say, list of some of the special features and who's involved. Oh, man. So obviously, I love film noir. If you are one of the people that celebrates Noirvember, I hope that you are stocking up and getting ready, because it's going to be here before you know it. Look at that. But that's not all. We also have Against the Storm. This is Herbert Klein in a Darkened Europe. It's 2 films. Crisis, a film on the Nazi way, and Lights Out in Europe. Now, these are 2 documentaries about what was going on with Nazi Germany at the time that it was developing. So Crisis, a film of the Nazi way, is from 1939. And Lights Out in Europe is from 1940. So these are contemporary as this thing was happening. It's interesting that we're having... Sidebar, stay tuned, because later in this video we're going to talk more about contemporary documentaries that were being made at the time that the conflict was going on. Again, we've got these beautiful restorations, and here I know that's very small print, but hopefully you guys can read that and it's not too blurry or distorted. Audio commentary by Thomas Doherty, who I really, really like and admire. I have lots of his books. I did a video, he wrote a book called Teenagers and Teen Pics that I did a video about Sam Katzman using teenagers and teen pics as sort of a jumping off point to have that discussion. Thomas Doherty is a film instructor. He teaches this stuff, and he has covered a wide swath of historical, basically the role of film throughout history, the last 100 years or so, and the McCarthy stuff, and fascinating. I really admire Mr. Doherty. Audio commentary by Maria Elena de la Carreras. We've got I'm just reading to you guys, but there's so much good stuff. These are meals of physical media releases. These are things that you can sit down and watch for hours and hours. Whew, look at this booklet. Flickr Alley puts so much attention into their releases, and they don't crank them out. Some labels and distributors are putting out a couple of dozen titles in a single month. Flickr Alley doesn't do that. Do they even do a dozen titles in the span of a year? I don't think they do. They really take time, and everything that they put out has so much work and prestige behind it. MoMA. Let me show you the interior art wrap on this too, because it's pretty well done as well. So again, you're going to want to keep your eyes peeled to other Cereal at Midnight outlets. If I can find a way to talk about it again here, I will. But remember that this is not the entire Cereal at Midnight output. This is not all that I do. This has become just a part of what I do. From Blue Underground, we have a new 4K. This is High Crime. What's interesting is I was doing my preliminary, before I make these videos, I put everything in a stack. I try to order it in the order that I want to tackle in these videos. And I go back over the special features so that I can talk, so like, oh yeah, this is the, just try to get my ducks in a row. And I was struck by how most of these releases have people that have been on Cereal at Midnight, that we've talked to, that I've interviewed, that we've gotten behind the scenes looks from. Lots of friends of this show on these releases. So in this case, obviously Blue Underground is Bill Lustig's label. He's been here. And we've got an audio commentary with star Franco Nero, Django himself, and Mike Malloy, who's also been on Cereal at Midnight. We're in some early talks to get him back to talk about some interesting things here. This is, I believe this is the US, yes, brand new 2024 Dolby Vision HDR Master, loaded with hours of extras for the first time ever in America. And the tradition of the French Connection, it says. And there's a ton here. I'm going to hold this up so you guys can freeze it. I have not done my, this is another one that I'll be writing a review for on my various platforms. And in case you're wondering, why do you write a review when you can just talk about it in a video? Because they're two very different formats. And a video does not allow for nuance. It doesn't allow for the deep dives that, a video is just a discussion. But a written thing is an entirely different ball of wax. Audio Commentary 1 with co-writer and director Enzo G. Castellari. That's incredible. Audio Commentary 2 with Franco Nero and Mike Malloy. Audio Commentary number 3 with Troy Howarth, Nathaniel Thompson, and Eugenio Ercolani. Alternate ending, theatrical trailer. Disc 2 has all of that as well. That's the 4K disc. Disc 2 is the Blu-ray, and it's got all those, plus all of the interviews, an interview with Enzo Castellari, interview with Massimo Vanni, interview with Roberto Girometti, Guido and Maurizio De Angelis as the composers. There's a connection. The Connection featurette by Eurocrime director Mike Malloy. That's going to be worth the price of admission alone, guys. And then the third disc here, there is a third disc. By the way, we do have alternate art on the wrap. It has the soundtrack on CD. So you guys know these Italian movies have incredible scores, incredible soundtracks. And here it is. I'm so happy. I actually sometimes will pull audio tracks from some of these movies and make them ringtones on my phone because I love the music so much. So I'm really happy that I have a good clean source for this. This is incredible. This is from Blue Underground. This is 4K, but remember, you're also getting the movie. It's 4K Blu-ray and the CD. So if you're not yet 4K capable, remember, you will be soon. Before long, you will be 4K capable. And you might want to future-proof your collection. Or not, whatever, doesn't matter to me. From Radiance, we've talked to Fran Simeone, the founder of Radiance. We have Tokijiro, Lone Yakuza. This is a I'm looking for the year, guys, 1966 film from Japan. We've got, here, I'll hold it up so you can read the description. Every time I talk about one of these movies from Radiance, I reference the fact that I talked to Fran Simeone when he founded the label, right before he founded the label. And he was like, I just want to put out movies that I love, and a lot of them are movies that haven't been put out before that people don't know about. I've loved movies my entire life. I would go to Blockbuster. At one point in time, I've told you guys this before, but every video is somebody's first, and some of you guys haven't been with me forever. For I think Monday through Thursday at Blockbuster around the late 90s, before they started that really big decline, you could get 5 rentals for $5, 5 catalogs. No, you couldn't do new releases, but you could get 5 catalog titles, basically from the middle of the store, right? Not the walls, but the middle of the store. 5 of them for 5 nights for $5. And so I would just go, like, huge chunks of movies at a time, and I go home. That was when my era of discovery of movies really started, because I wasn't just watching whatever was popular. I was watching whatever was interesting, whatever caught my eye. And you could take at $1 a pop, you could take a huge risk. And so I say all of that to say, I haven't heard of most of the movies that Fran is putting out on Blu-ray with the Radiance label, including this one. I'm excited to discover them, but I don't have a lot to say about them. This does have, interview with film critic Kushi Ueno. I'm probably saying that wrong. Should I even try? Yeah, you have to try. You have to take your shot. You have to try. We have reversible art wrap. We have the booklets loaded up with text. I better not show that. This is a sensitive place these days. So, very exciting. More Asian cinema coming from Eureka. I've interviewed Eureka. It's going to be every one of these. And we'll be like, and you can see my interview here. You know, I try to put cards, clickable cards and links in the, like I'll do pop-ups and I link to them in the description. This is going to have a lot of those. I can only do 5 clickable links in a video, but I can add lots of links in the description of this video. So if you want to see my interview with Eureka, check it out. This is A Man Called Tiger with Jimmy Wang Yu. I don't believe this has been released anywhere else in the world. I think this is one of those, for the first time ever on Blu-ray with a brand new 2K restoration. We got did I flip? Yeah, we got alternate artwork here. We've got, here, I'll let you guys look at that while I'm trying to decipher. You know what? I don't have to read all that to you guys. Check it out. Freeze it. Now, if you're on your phone, that's going to be harder, but a lot of you guys watch me on your TVs. So hopefully you can freeze it, and you can just just go down the list there. So reversible art wrap. And, all right, let's do the poster first. The double-sided poster. There's that art. There's that art. Ooh, smells nice. I could paper my house with all of these mini posters. Give me a table of contents. No table of contents. Ooh, James Oliver. Big in Japan, Low Way in the Shadow of Bruce Lee in A Man Called Tiger by James Oliver. What else do I want to show you out of this booklet? Brendan Bentley. Notes on the reconstruction of the first released cut of A Man Called Tiger. So, it just keeps going. There's a lot of Asian cinema enthusiasts in my audience. Okay, listen. Remember, I'm not buying most of this stuff. This is what the labels are sending to me to review, to talk about, to pass the message on to you guys so that you know what's coming out. So I don't know about this. This is Johnny Puff Secret Mission from the animated series Puffins. So I have no idea what Puffins is. Is this like a European series? It probably is. It's probably French or Belgian or German or something like that. But it's Johnny Depp as the voice of Johnny Puff. I'm like, what? So I go on IMDb because I'm like, what is this? What is Johnny Puff? What is Puffins, for crying out loud? There is nothing. There is a listing for this movie on IMDb. Johnny Depp is the only star listed. And it seems like it's a very European thing. So I don't know. I don't know why Johnny Depp did this. I don't know why he is in this movie. It's new. I don't think it's like this distant thing. 2024, Méliès Productions Entertainment, all rights reserved. I don't know if you got kids and you love Johnny Depp and you just want to add, if you're a huge Rango fan, I don't know. Anyway, had to pass that on. Side effects may vary. So, listen, you can get the whole scoop on this. This is J.R. Bookwalter's return to cinema after years as not directing. You know, J.R. Bookwalter is the filmmaker behind The Dead Next Door, behind Ozone. I've covered so many of his films here at Serial at Midnight, and then he took years off and he started up Makeflix and really launched this home media entertainment. I'm going to call it an empire. Lots and lots of different, Makeflix is sort of a hub for all sorts of independent creators. And now he has returned to filmmaking. He came on to Serial at Midnight to give the full scoop on this, what it was like to return to directing after so long. I admire this man tremendously. He was driving through town. He toured this movie. He did this really interesting roadshow presentation where he makes this movie and he decided to go on the road with it. And so he toured dozens of cities. I want to say it was like 50 something cities that he went and showed this movie at independent theaters. So when he was close to me, he was passing through town. Like, we shared a meal, we broke bread together, we talked about life and the industry and all kinds of stuff. I have tremendous respect for Mr. Bookwalter as a creator. And now, in that interview that I did with him, that you can see here, that's linked somewhere, he talked about how there was no rush to get this on physical media because he wanted you to get in the theater again. Cinephiles supporting a movie in the theater being a very important thing. As a director, he wanted this movie to be seen in a theater with other people. That's what so many directors want for their movie. We talked all about that. People act like this is some weird thing that they're hearing for the first time. Directors make movies to be seen communally with other people in a movie theater. That's the goal of every filmmaker, is to do that. So shouldn't be a surprise to anybody because multiple people have said that. Ask Bill Lustig about how he made his movies. Anyway, now it is on physical media. Now you can order this, and I'm actually going to show you guys. You can go to, scan that, guys. Scan that and you'll see all about it. You can also go to Makeflix. There's lots of places. You can follow this. Side effects may vary on social media. This is, in a lot of Makeflix discs are manufactured on demand. This is factory press. Look at that silver, that gloss coat. That's the gloss coat's not the right word. What's the word for it? I cannot remember. The glass coating. That's the glass. Yeah. Oh, it's James L. Edwards and Brink Stevens. You've never seen Brink Stevens like she is in this movie. She plays a very, very it's crazy. It's wild. Because this is a movie about, it's not a political movie, but it does have a lot about sort of like what we're putting in our bodies and like pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. It did come with a face mask, a side effects may vary face mask. So if you want to represent indie horror when you wear your face mask, anyway, this is one way to do it. And man, this has 2024 director's cut. Feature in 16:9 original aspect ratio. We've got audio commentary with J.R. Bookwalter. We've got roadshow opening night Q&A at the Harris Theater in Pittsburgh, PA, with director J.R. Bookwalter, writer star James L. Edwards, and star Floyd Ewing Jr., moderated by Art Edinger of Ultraviolent Magazine. We got theatrical roadshow teaser, another teaser trailer It's a lot of stuff here. So I'm going to hold that up. Remember, freeze it, read it, love it. JR, thanks for sending me this Blu-ray. I continue to love to support your efforts, your creative efforts. Arrow. All right, we got 3. Well, to say there are 3, we got 2 box sets and a horror film. Let's start with a horror film, because that's the most approachable, probably. This is a Lucky McKee double feature. So this is going to be The Woman, and it's almost like it's a bonus film here because they don't really even talk about it. Offspring. So they talk a lot about The Woman. All this text, and it's very small print. I'm going to freeze that, or hold it up so you can freeze it. All of this is for The Woman. They talk a lot about The Woman, and they're like, it also includes The Offspring, so, on its own disc. So I don't know what's going on there. 4K restorations. Obviously, this is in 4K. Is The Offspring in 4K? The Woman is 4K. The Offspring, yeah, they're both on 4K. So this has, that was awfully small print. So let me hit some high notes for you guys. Audio commentary with Lucky McKee, the editor, the sound designer, the composer. Here, I'll give you things to look at while we do that. 75-minute fly on the wall behind the scenes documentary for The Woman, with filmed by the director's father, Mike McKee, being Peggy Cleek, and this just goes on and on. Lots and lots of special features, documentaries, commentaries, interviews, featurettes. Offspring has archival commentary with Jack Ketchum. I should mention these are very associated with Jack Ketchum, a horror writer that is really, I think, maybe under the radar, a dark crime, dark writer, Jack Ketchum. My friend Joshua Jebkuga, who we've talked to here, he did a commentary for They Live with me here that you can see for free. He adapted Joe R. Lansdale's Bubba Hotep and the Cosmic Bloodsuckers. All these names. I'm like, what was the name of it? Bubba Hotep and the Cosmic Bloodsuckers. He adapted that for comics for IDW. He's a good friend of mine, and he was very. Jack Ketchum was like a mentor for him, and he's talked to me a little bit about that. And just a lot of people really respect Jack Ketchum, and so these movies are associated with Mr. Ketchum. We have a booklet here. Hold on, what are they teasing? They're teasing Hugo, which I love. Scorsese making a movie for young people to instill a love of cinema. Here's a table of contents in the book. Whoop! And I dropped it. Let's see. Probably, I can't show a lot of this because it's so gruesome. There we go. It's not representative of the movie, but well, it's representative of part of the movie. Okay, so that's these 2 movies on 4K. I feel like Arrow is doing some unconventional things in the last year or 2. They're putting out a lot of newer horror, a lot of things that aren't necessarily cult classics. For a long time, I feel like Arrow was like the cult label, like this, right? This is When Titans Rule the Earth. This is Clash of the Titans and Wrath of the Titans. Now, these are going to be what are these? The early the Millennium era movies, not the original Clash of the Titans with Harry Hamlin, stop motion stuff. Not that. This is the CGI version from 15 years ago. I'm looking for the year here. I see 2024, 2012. Okay, there we go. I saw these movies when they were new. I think I even bought them. I think they're somewhere on my shelf in Blu-ray. Now we have them on 4K. So let me get these out here, and we'll talk about the films here. These are not to be sold separately, it says. So if you want them, you have to get them this way. Let's do a full here. Let's start with Clash of the Titans. We'll do them chronologically. Here's the front. Here is the back. You can freeze that. You can read that. Lots of stuff there. But I know this is going to have reversible art. That's the familiar art that I know. Go ahead and flip that around. And, oh, by the way, hold on. It's not quite in there right. Sam Worthington in one of my favorite movies of the year. Also, Horizon, An American Saga, chapters 1 and at least chapter 2. It's all we have. It's all that exists so far. I heard Michael Rooker, who's in the movie, on a podcast recently. This is our tease. Talking about how he just got to see chapter 2. Chapter 2 is supposed to be out by the time this video went up. Chapter 2 had been scheduled, but it did not happen because of the poor box office return. Seeing movies in the theater matters. So now they're having to release it to streaming and hoping the audience shows up for that to build anticipation for chapter 2. Anyway, Sam Worthington is fantastic. He's fantastic in that movie. Here's the cards. We've got a few cards here. Release the Kraken. Is that right? Oh, no. And Boosh. Now let's see. Oh, this is very small. That is a really mini poster. What do you guys think about these movies? I'm going to go on record. I don't love remakes. These movies have their place. I know that they are probably the entree for a lot of, if this was your introduction to this myth, to the larger than life world of gods and monsters and, Medusa. What is the Medusa? I'm trying to remember what her species, the Gorgon. Then there's nothing I say matters. For me, of course, I grew up with the original, and so for these, I'm like, wow, yeah, they're cool, but I mean, those originals with all that stop motion, like that's where my heart really lives with this kind of movie. But I mean, it is nice to see these getting this treatment with a 4K presentation. Obviously, these are not coming from a studio. What studio is this? Well, this is Warner Brothers, you guys. These are both Warner Brothers movies. Hold on. I've just realized this is a big deal because Warner Brothers doesn't often license their stuff out to other distributors. They do for Criterion Collection. That's about it. And then maybe there's something I'm missing here. Maybe, I don't know. But the fact that Warner Brothers allowed Arrow to put these out, that's something. That's something to talk about. Okay, let's flip this around. Okay, and we have more of everything. More cards, and they do all have this art on the back. I was kind of trying to get a read of what that even was. See, okay, I'm gonna editorialize, and hopefully it's okay. Hopefully nobody gets too upset with me, and I'm not even talking about you guys, though maybe you guys will get upset with me. I don't know. This is so busy. This is so representative of the movies and how it's just like kitchen sink, like everything in the kitchen sink. It's overwhelming, and I think maybe that's part of it. Is my brain is just like, I can't connect to all of this, so I'm not even going to try. Whereas in the original Clash of the Titans and all those Harryhausen movies from the 60s, the 50s and the 60s, it was not overwhelming, and it was so detailed in one monster fight that it really felt you didn't get lost. If you like in a chase scene, you don't want to get lost. You want to know where you are at all times in the chase scene. Maybe that's part of, like, this is just, it's so much. It's so representative of what is everywhere now. I think maybe when this came out, this style of film was not everywhere, where it was just, oh, hold on, this is cool. Look at that. Where it really is, it's sort of like the kitchen sink. I don't know. And I'm not asking you to agree with me. Anytime I express an opinion, someone gets upset. Actually, a lot of people get upset. I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm not presenting my opinion as a fact. I'm talking about what I like, how I feel, and what I connect with. I am glad that these movies are on 4K. I'm glad that they have been preserved because, my goodness, Warner Brothers lets a lot of things sit in their vaults and does not get them out. This is a cause for celebration, even if it's not necessarily for me. I know a lot of you guys are going to be super into it, so that's great. This is for me. I'm excited about this. This is the Mexico trilogy. This is Robert Rodriguez, El Mariachi, Once Upon a Time in the West. Well, actually, I missed Desperado. El Mariachi, Desperado, Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I've seen all three. Did I see all three of these in theaters? No, I didn't see El Mariachi in theaters. But El Mariachi is one of those movies that was an early DVD release. It came out, I was like at the very early years of DVD. It came out and it had a commentary with Robert Rodriguez, and it was the whole idea of his 5-minute film school and cooking with Robert, all these things that Robert Rodriguez does, where he was really lowering the barrier between the viewer and the creator. And I loved it. His commentary, I would listen to his commentary many nights. If I couldn't sleep, if I was restless, I would put on his commentary and just listen. He told us how to make fake blood. He told us how to shoot certain things. I believe he shot that first movie on 16 millimeter, but I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I've listened to that commentary, but I just have a tremendous respect for what these movies represent. And of course, as time would go on, Rodriguez would get further from this kind of thing, much more grand in scope, partnering with, Favreau for episodes of Lucasfilm shows like The Mandalorian, things like that. The whole Spy Kids thing. So what is it, Spy Kids? I've never seen any of them. Shark Boy and Lava Girl, didn't he do that? Like, that's so far from this. This is what I love. So what do we have here? We have, they all have reversible artwork, and I have reversed them to the original poster art, but here is the new art for El Mariachi. Hold on, let's see what we got here. We've got commentary with Robert Rodriguez, Big Vision, Low Budget, a newly filmed interview with Robert Rodriguez, the original Mariachi, a newly filmed interview with writer-producer star Carlos Gallardo, the music of El Mariachi, newly produced featurette on the music of the film, featuring interviews with the composer. Okay, 10-minute film school. I thought there were 5. There are 10-minute film schools. Did they go down to 5 over time? An archive featurette produced and narrated by Rodriguez. Bedhead, a 1991 short film by Robert Rodriguez that was on the original DVD. Theatrical trailers, TV spots. That's great. Okay, what's in here? They're advertised. What is this? What is this? More of these mini posters. All right, put that in the box. Desperado is 4K. Now the rest of these are Blu-ray. I don't know why only Desperado got a 4K. Probably because it's the one that people love the most. It's the one that made the biggest splash. Maybe, I don't know what the elements... I told you El Mariachi was filmed with a very low budget and lower film stock. So I would say, when I see 16 millimeter being put on 4K, I'm not sure I don't know that works. I know you can do it, and I've seen it done. I'm not sure the return is there. But with 35 millimeter, obviously that's a really good fit. So this is the only one in the collection that's 4K. We've got, let's see, audio commentary with Robert Rodriguez, Lean and Mean, a newly filmed interview with Robert Rodriguez, Shoot Like Crazy, newly filmed interview with the producer, Kill Count, newly filmed interviews with the stunt coordinator, Lock and Load, a newly filmed interview with the effects coordinator, Game Changer, newly filmed appreciation by filmmaker Gareth Evans from The Raid Redemption. What? 10 More Minutes, Anatomy of a Shootout, an archive feature narrated by Robert Rodriguez, textless opening theatrical trailers. Holy cow. This has the black case, so let me show you. That's the artwork for Desperado. And we have the film here on 4K, and I'm guessing this is the Blu-ray. It actually doesn't say Blu-ray anywhere on here. Anyway, this is the other disc. Dual format special edition. Okay, so it's got both. Got you covered. New OG. Okay, we have one more here. Once Upon a Time in Mexico. This is Johnny Depp again. Let me show you the original. There's the new cover art. Saw this in theaters, of course. I just enjoyed that particular moment in time. This era, I don't know. I don't want to. I've talked multiple times in this episode about how I still love seeing movies in theaters and how I think that it's important to see movies in theaters. But this time, the like mid 90s until like 2002, 2003. What year was this? It's around there, right? 2003. This is a real magical time for me in my fandom, because there was so many risks being taken still. It wasn't this homogenized CGI spectacle every weekend. It was a lot of different kinds of movies happening, and I really think I got really lucky with when I was able to become a diehard movie fan. Commentary with Robert Rodriguez. The Revolution will be digitized. The newly filmed interview with Rodriguez. Troublemaking. Newly filmed interview with the effects editor. 8 deleted scenes with optional commentary with Rodriguez. 10-minute film school. Archive feature inside Troublemaker Studios. An archive feature with Robert Rodriguez studio in Austin. 10-minute cooking school. I'm glad they brought that over. Films in. He's on an episode. Here, I'll hold this up. He's on an episode of Jon Favreau has a show. What's the name of Jon Favreau? It's Chef Show? Not Chef the movie. He has a show, a cooking show. And he did an episode where they went to, I think they were at Robert Rodriguez's house, and they're cooking, if memory serves, they're cooking sourdough bread. And Robert Rodriguez doesn't know how to cook sourdough bread, and it's like, show me how you do that again. I love that. That's cool stuff. And so, because cooking is very important in culture. Now, here's big posters. Oh, hold on. Did we have a poster for Once Upon a Time in Mexico? Now, there's so many Once Upon a Times now. Like, did I do this? I have no memory if I did. I did do this because I was talking while I was doing it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Once Upon a Time in the West, Once Upon a Time in New York, Once Upon a Time in America. That's what it is. Here's the book. We have a full book. There's Mr. Trejo right there with his belt of knives. Has anyone eaten at Trejo's Tacos in Los Angeles? There's a table of contents here. Here it is. Show you guys all the things that are here. Okay. I'm excited about this one. This one really speaks my language, and I think you can tell how I kind of lit up when I was talking about it. Alpha Video. Let's talk about some new stuff from Alpha Video. I'm going to kick it off with the thing that is closest to my heart that I have not even unboxed yet. So Brian Cray, who's been here multiple times, I don't know if we're going to be able to stick to a monthly schedule because of just everything that has to be covered. But we are doing more and more deep dives in pop culture. But he works at Alpha Video. We did an Alpha Video interview. And I'm going to ask, I said, hey, you put out the first half of the Rangebusters movies. Now, they're not all in the public domain. Some of them are in the public domain. I was like, you put out one volume, like one collection of so Alpha Video, you can get all but I think 2 of the Rangebusters movies from Alpha Video. The rest of them are copyright held, and you can't do that. Or maybe it's just one, actually. I think it's just one. I was like, you have a box set of like volume 1, but there is no box set for volume 2. And he was like, well, let me look into that. And here is volume 2. So this, I had maybe a little bit to do with this. I'm not going to take credit for it because I just mentioned it. If you want to hear me wax rhapsodic about the Rangebusters movies, check out my interview with Toby Rohn, the maestro from 50 Westerns from the 50s, the website. These are they're monogram Poverty Row B-Westerns from the early 1940s. I think these are going to be 43. Maybe some from 1942. They started in 1940. Okay. Oh, because they're not necessarily presented chronologically. I'm excited about these. I am not necessarily recommending that you jump into these blindly. They are quite a specific thing, but I know a lot of my audience loves B-Westerns. And if you do, this is now the best way to approach the Rangebusters movies because you're getting half of them in one fell swoop. Caw-caw, scooping them up like an eagle over a river. I don't know. Over a stream, snatching up a salmon. So this is going to be discs 1 through 4. Look at how this is very well done. This has been talked about before too, that sometimes Alpha Video would just bundle like 7 DVD cases together and shrink wrap them. This is Brian Cray listening to you guys, wanting to put out something better, and this is something better. So I wanted to really call some attention to this because it's not only close to my heart, it represents something that is a better product than what we might have had even a year ago. So that's good. More stuff from Alpha Video. We've got classic cars of the 1930s and the 1940s. This is 2 collections. I believe this is the same one that I talked with Brian about in an episode where they're basically, it's 2 discs worth of vintage short subjects, promotional newsreels, all about the classic cars of the 30s and the 40s. They're rarely about the cars. It's so interesting how they choose to advertise. Like, look at this. This is so representative. You know, woman in a bathing suit and a swimsuit hanging on a car. Their exploitation. They're promo spots for cars that are just straight up exploitation. So now there's a collection. You get both volumes there. This is what I was referencing earlier. Archives of War, Rare World War II Documentaries. So these are the films that are included. This is volume 2, by the way. We've talked about volume 1 at length. I will reference you to my video about the latest releases from Alpha Video with Brian. And hold on, let me skip to this one. This is Man in Space documentary double feature. So if you saw my my video with Brian about Overlords of the UFO, we both have kind of a soft spot for these interesting, weird space documentaries. Now, Overlords of the UFO is just hogwash. It's just total fantasy about like where do these UFOs come from. This is science. This is based in science. So this is the astronauts, United States Project Mercury from 1960, and the mission of Apollo-Soyuz, if I'm pronouncing that right, from 1975. 2 documentaries on one disc. And our Alpha Video coverage concludes with Douglas Fairbanks and Mr. Robinson Crusoe. This was a film, by the way, Brian writes all of these liner notes. I don't know if that's going to show. Here, I'm going to hold that right there. Freeze that if you want to read all of that. Brian writes all of this himself. He does these deep dives of research. This is interesting. So it's not Robinson Crusoe. Douglas Fairbanks I know from The Swashbucklers. He's like the first movie cinematic swashbuckler, the legendary, he's in The Three Musketeers, he was in Robin Hood, he was in, I think Brian listed some of them. The Three Musketeers from 1921, Robin Hood from 1922, The Thief of Baghdad, that's the big one, from 1924. Mr. Robinson Crusoe was one of 4 sound films Fairbanks made before retiring from acting with his final performance in 1934's The Private Life of Don Juan. There was a silent version and a sound version. The sound version is because it's a 1932 film. So the industry had moved on to sound by 1932, really by like 28, 29. But there's some people continue to make silence. So this has the sound version and it has a rare silent version as well. So it's very interesting to me. Both of them are here. So I'm really happy that that's in my collection. Great work, Brian. I'm happy to support you and your efforts. I'm hoping more and more people check these releases out. We're winding down here, guys. The Bat Whispers. This is a collaboration between the Mary Pickford Company, between the Mary Pickford Foundation, the UCLA Library, VCI, MVD Visual. They're all involved with this release. So if you know the Vincent Price movie, The Bat, this is a 1930. It was shot in 1930. I believe it's the same story. Haven't watched this yet, but it has. There's multiple versions. 3 versions of this movie here. 3 complete versions of The Bat Whispers from 1931. Okay, it was shot in 30, released in 31 on 2 Blu-rays. We have the widescreen Magnafilm version, 65 millimeter. 65. We have the 35mm US version and a 35mm British version. There's a commentary track by Mick LaSalle, liner notes, booklet by Richard Barrios. It has the Bat. It has the 1959 Vincent Price version. There's an Aggie Moorehead in that too. Agnes Moorehead is in that version as well. I think 1959, the full movie, the 59 version. So that's 4 movies on these 2 discs. Video, The Bat before and after restoration comparison, and then The Bat 1926 versus The Bat Whispers from 1931. So comparing 2 versions of the same story. Really, really, really cool. I'm gonna hold that up if you want to freeze it. Check it out. Look at how well this is done. Here's our booklet. Here's the 2 discs. Let me pop these off because there's some good stuff going on back there on that reversible art wrap. I'm excited about this, especially with fall coming, with autumn coming, and the day's getting a little bit shorter soon, and the nights, you know, things cooling off a little bit. It's going to be time to really dig into these kinds of movies. Look at this. And then they have a gallery of all the promotional art, the lobby cards and the half sheets and the full sheets back here. Tasty. Very tasty. So I'm excited about this. Really looking forward to catching up with it. Hillbillies in a Haunted House. This is from VCI. This movie's fun. Listen, this movie's not great. I have this movie on DVD. I've had it for years. It is what it sounds like. It's hillbillies in a haunted house. It's leaning into, it's the, you know, the Abbott and Costello meet Wolfman, Frankenstein, all that, you know, that kind of a thing. But it's promoting country music stars of the time. So we got Molly B, Don Bowman, Merle Haggard, Ferlin Husky, Jim Kent, Sonny James, Joy Lansing, Marcella Wright. It has 12 songs performed by some of country music's top performers. It is exactly what it sounds like. Who is the guy in the monkey suit here? We got John Carradine, Lon Chaney, Linda Ho, and Basil Rathbone in Hillbillies in a Haunted House. Could Crash Corrigan be in this suit? I don't know. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. We got a commentary by Robert Kelly, who I did a commentary with Rob and Amanda Reyes on Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. That's hitting 4K from VCI soon over the Halloween season, and so I've worked with Rob. A lot of fun. Photo gallery, Las Vegas Hillbillies trailer. So let me flip this around. You guys can see everything there. I know this is going to be very appealing to a lot of you guys. It's just that kind of mid-century fun. We've got the DVD and the Blu-ray, right? The Blu-ray and DVD, yeah. So it's a dual format. I just noticed, look at the spine. Focus. Okay. Two more. Okay, this is also from VCI. This is the Dick Tracy, what do they call it? It's the RKO Pictures Collection. So these are the Dick Tracy movies. I think there's 4 of them. We got Dick Tracy and Dick Tracy versus Cue Ball, Dick Tracy's Dilemma, and Dick Tracy Meets Gruesome. Boris Karloff is in the house. Now, so these are the movies that have been, the Dick Tracy films, have been restored in 4K from the original film negatives. That right there is huge. I have these movies in various, I think I've got 2 or 3 DVD versions of these movies. Max Allan Collins was on some of those. I actually bought one of the releases, one of the collections, just because of Max Allan Collins' involvement. You know, Max Allan Collins and I have done multiple commentaries. He's been here talking about we've done top 10 lists, top 5 lists. So honored to call him a friend. He's all over this, but so are other Cereal at Midnight friends too. So we've got bonus features, intros by Max Allan Collins before each movie. Dick Tracy RKO lobby cards and photo gallery. I wouldn't be surprised if those came from Max's collection. Dick Tracy Detective Commentary number 1 by Max Collins and number 2 by Jason Nye, who's he's never been on the show, but he's a friend of mine. Dick Tracy versus Cue Ball, commentary number 1 by Max Collins, commentary number 2 by Bernard M. Prokop, Associate Professor of English and Film Series. Dick Tracy's Dilemma, commentary number 1 by Max Collins, and commentary number 2 by Toby Rohn, the 50 Westerns from the 50s guy that I just posted an interview with a couple of weeks ago. Dick Tracy Meets Gruesome, commentary number 1 by Max Allan Collins, commentary number 2 by Toby Rohn, and that 12-page collectible booklet, Gruesome by Name, When Karloff Met Dick Tracy by Stephen Jacobs. This is incredible. This is going to be probably high on my, well, I can already tell you, this is one of the releases of the year, because this is just that good. The material and the people involved with the preservation and the telling the story of these films. And I love Dick Tracy. I told Max this before, but when Dick Tracy came out, the Warren Beatty film in 1990, that was one of those movies. I credit Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with being the movie that made me love movies. But before that, I loved 1989 Batman. I just loved it as a fan. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to the craft of it. And I loved Dick Tracy because it was an extension of that Batman thing, right? But what I've aged into now is how that Dick Tracy film from 1990 has Al Pacino and Paul Sorvino and Henry Silva and Dustin Hoffman, these amazing Oscar-winning actors who were just covered under layers of makeup. But that 1990 really fired my exploration. That's when I read the novelization by Max Allan Collins, and then I went back to the original. My library had the The Case Files of Dick Tracy, I think, or maybe it was the Celebrated Case Files of Dick Tracy, and it was like a kind of a greatest hits comics collection. And I was Dick Tracy crazy in 1990 and into 1991, and I think that also shaped my love of noir. I don't know that I've ever told Max that Dick Tracy was a profound influence on my interest in crime and crime fiction and gangsters and the Untouchables and all that stuff. Kind of came out of Dick Tracy, and the movie was the gateway. So having these films from the original, so 1945 through 47, what a pleasure. All right, last one. This is coming up on an hour. Holy cow. Door-to-Door Maniac. This is double feature Door-to-Door Maniac and Right Hand of the Devil. This is the latest jam from Film Masters, a company that I have tremendous respect for, but this one's near to my heart because this is Door-to-Door Maniac is Johnny Cash's big screen debut. Now, the man was in a lot of movies, but most of them were TV movies later, when he did, what did he do, Stagecoach, right, with Chris Christopherson, I think, and Willie Nelson. They did a lot of stuff in their later, Johnny Cash and his friends, other members of the Highwaymen, I guess, Waylon maybe, did a lot of stuff later that was much lower prestige. And this is, to be fair, this is lesser prestige as well. This is, what is actually the year? 1961. We're talking about a Johnny Cash that is, at that time, the Man in Black. This is the guy, Ring of Fire. This is that dark, original, first era, the dangerous Johnny Cash. And that makes sense because he is he's the antagonist. He is the door-to-door maniac, you guys. So I just think that's tremendously interesting. And we've only got 2 theatrical movies with Johnny Cash in them at all. So we've got Door-to-Door Maniac feature film. We've got a commentary. Oh, this isn't giving me a whole lot of notes here. Let's see, Door-to-Door Maniac, author podcaster Daniel Budnick and film historian Rob Kelly do the commentary for Door-to-Door Maniac, and featuring the commentary on Right Hand for the Devil by the Monster Party podcast. Player Piano, The Passion of Aram Catcher, a visual essay from someone's favorite productions. Liner notes by Don Stradley and C. Courtney Joyner, my collaborator, my friend C. Courtney Joyner. I need to reach out to Don Stradley because we got to get him on here too. And then the original trailers for the movie. Let me show you guys this booklet because it's what I love about these movies is that, frequently dismissed. So many of these movies that Film Masters is putting on Blu-ray have been culturally dismissed, overlooked, or even outright mocked and made fun of. But these allow us, Johnny, what are you doing, Johnny? The opportunity for reassessment. These allow us, what these guys are doing, what Don Stradley and C. Courtney Joyner are doing here is giving us context to appropriately and properly understand what we're seeing here. Look at this essay by C. Courtney Joyner. He's getting into like underappreciated filmmakers and the toll that a failure takes on the creators as a review for The Giant from the Unknown at CerealAtMidnite.com. So remember when I tell you that this is not the last stop. This channel is not the last stop for my movie coverage. You don't want to miss my review of Giant from the Unknown. You can find that at CerealAtMidnite.com. I think it's also on Letterboxd, but why would you not just go to CerealAtMidnite.com? I know people are like, websites, but I have to read. And then we want everything in a TikTok 15-second format. There's magic when you dig deep beneath the surface. When you read an essay like this, hats off to everybody involved with this. Hats off to Film Masters. Continue to be one of my labels to watch. Wow. Okay. At just under an hour, we have done it. This is a mountain of new releases. Thank you guys for sticking with me through it. This is going to be a super show. This is one of the biggest episodes I will do. Probably the biggest episode I will do all month long. Thank you if you made it to the end. I really appreciate that. Talk about the movies. Let's talk about the movies. Let's talk about where you're at, what you're seeing, what you're exploring. This is a great opportunity to talk about our love of movies and what we're checking out, whether it's in this video or not. What are you checking out? What are you connecting with? I always say, I love for the comments of my video to be, to give recommendations, to be like hanging out at the video store, getting recommendations for things that people might not know about. Because every video is somebody's first. And those comments are where we can really continue that conversation. Guys, thank you so much. Please subscribe, give thumbs ups, and I appreciate you. Take care. Till next time, I will catch you later.